Welcome students. Today we are going to discuss about the last important task of crop production and agriculture, that is the storage. So storage is the last most important task, because after harvesting, if we cannot store the grain, then it cannot be possible to supply the grain to the whole parts of the country, because we need to feed the huge amount of population in our country. Before storage, we have seen that how we prepare the soil in the ground, how we sow the seed, how we adding manure and fertilizer for the proper growth of the crop, and then after then how we process the whole agriculture and how we protect the crop from weeds and how we harvest. Now this is the last most important task of agriculture and crop production, because after harvesting, if we get the crop from the field, then the whole amount of crop we cannot consume at a time. So for future use and to supply to all over the country, we have to store the crop in our home or in another place where we can keep the crop for a long time. So this process is called storage. So storage is the important task of agriculture, as you know that. So what is storage? Storage is actually keep the grain for a longer time. That is, we have to keep the grain in a proper way, in a proper scientific way, in a proper place, so that we can keep the crop healthy and usable for a longer time. This is the process of storage. Now question is, why we need to keep the crop for a longer time, and why we need to apply different scientific method and different areas, why we prepare different areas for storage of crop. The reason is that when we harvest the crop, then this crop has huge amount of moisture in it, and this moisture can be harmful for the crop. How this? Because fresh crop, they have huge amount of moisture, and this moisture can spoil the seed. This moisture, for the presence of this moisture, different types of microorganism, they can attack the seed and can destroy the seed, and due to the presence of moisture, seed can lose their germination capacity. Germination capacity means when a seed can produce a big tree, then this is called the germination capacity. So if any moisture present inside the seed, then the germination capacity of the seed can be lost, and this seed cannot grow to new plant. So these are the three main reasons. For this we need to save the crop from the moisture, and we need to eradicate or need to remove the moisture from the crop. For removing the moisture of the crop, then what we can do, we can dry the crop in the sun. So because of heat effect of sunlight, the moisture that is present inside the crop, they can be eradicated or they can be lost naturally. So if moisture is lost from the crop, then the crop become dried, and this crop can be stored for a longer time, and in future we can use this crop by applying the water to the crop. Now after preventing the crop from the moisture, we need to prevent the crop from insect pest, rat and microorganisms also, because this insect pest, rat and microorganism can also destroy the crop. They can eat the crop or they can spoil the crop. Different types of decomposition can be occurred inside the crop due to the activity of microorganism and due to the activity of moisture. So by dried in the sun, we need to eradicate or need to lose the moisture from the sun and moisture from the crop, and then after removing the moisture or after reduce the amount of moisture, we can store the crop in two ways. First way, we can store the crop in small scale, and we can store the crop in large scale also. Why it is small scale? If we need to store the crop in small scale, then we have to store the crop at home. The crop that we store in our home, that is in the small scale, and the large amount of crop can be stored in a big godown, which is for the future use, for future supply, for future production, and for future to giving the people or to feed the people. Now when we store the crop in the crop at home, then we can use jute bag or metallic bins for storing the crop, and to keep the stored crop away from the microorganism, we can use dried neem leaf at the preventive measure for the storage of the crop in our home, because here we cannot afford the chemical treatment and this is the very small scale storage. So that is why chemical treatment is not sufficient to chemical treatment is not required for this small scale, so that we can use dried neem leaves at our which is available at our home, so we can use this. But if we need to store the crop in a large scale, then these dried neem leaves are not sufficient for provide the protection of the crop from the microorganism. So in the large scale, what we need a special chemical treatment. This chemical treatment can prevent the crop from spoiling and can prevent the crop from damage. And when we need to store the crop in a large scale, then we use a special space or special area or special construction where we can keep the crop in a large scale. This special construction is called as either silos or granaries. So these are the special buildings or special construction where we can keep the crop in a large scale for a longer time, and in this case of silos and granaries we need to use the chemical treatment, and this chemical treatment is actually prevent the crop from spoiling. So these all are the storage forms of the crop production, and storage is the another most important task for the crop production and agriculture. After storage we can supply the huge amount of crop to our different parts of the country. Now after storage we are going to discuss about some another aspect of feeding animals or feeding human being in a large scale, that is the animal husbandry. So let's make the heading animal husbandry. So animal husbandry is the culture of animal. Let's write about it is the culture of animal husbandry is actually the rearing or culturing of animal. Now question is, which types of animals can be reared or cultured in animal husbandry? In that case we use those animals from which we can get something or for our fooding purpose, such like we can use different types of birds. From there we can get eggs, or meat. Another types of animals we can use such like cows for agricultural purpose, or we can get milk from the cow. So this egg, this meat, this milk, or from the cow we can also get the meat. Okay, so these are the things that we use as a food for our daily purpose, and for that purpose we can culture of this animal for the daily need. Now as we know that in case of crop production and crop agriculture, we need to prepare the soil, we need to make the crop suitable for different types of nutrient. In the case of animal husbandry, animals also they kept in proper place. They kept in proper place and provide with nutrient and shelter and treatment so that these animals can grow easily, these animals can produce the production in a huge amount, in a large amount, so that we can feed the another people of our country.